is going to be looking at the dire situation in which Cameroon finds itself. We're going to be looking at a topic captioned Cameroon at a critical juncture. What is the way forward? We're going to be looking at the difficulties in which our nation finds itself from the political, economic, socio-cultural perspectives. What is not working right and how do we fix them? We're going to be discussing on this very important topic with a panelist who are with me in the studio. We have Senior Barrister Ashu Emmanuel, who is the National President of the Reform Party. Good evening, Senior Barrister. We're glad to have you.
Thank you, Mr. Leo. Good evening to my fellow panelists. Good evening to your esteemed televiewers. Good evening to Reform Party members and sympathizers in Cameroon and the world over.
We also are going to be discussing this night with Dr. Nick Angwanyam, who is a militant of the CPDM party. He is a social entrepreneur and an educationist. Good evening, Dr. Nick.
Oh, thank you very much. It's been a long time that I didn't come here, and on entering the studio, I remembered my son who passed away from this studio, and may his soul rest in perfect peace. That said, I want to greet all of you out there who are listening to us tonight. We are treating a very important topic, and we are not going to say anything that is not the truth. We will speak the truth in love. It's very important, and I greet all of you who understand the concept of the progressive CPDM.
Okay. We actually at crossroads as we speak today as a nation.
You could not have put it better. We are actually at a crossroad because elections are due to be convened anytime, and you look at the political landscape. To say that there is confusion is just to underlook the situation, because the ruling CPDM party that many people thought was going to be the leader in political sphere is in total disarray. Is bastion that used to be presented as being the north, the Grand North, is in shambles, and we see open conflicts between high-ranking personalities in that organization, which doesn't speak well. And look at the way the country is being run. Nothing seems to be going. Socially, there is we are living in an uneasy atmosphere. Nobody knows what tomorrow will look like. I was just informed this evening that in certain towns they were planning to march, a protest march, so that institutions be carried back to where they're supposed to be. And you see, that's the type of situation in which we are. You look at the other political parties, you see that nothing is going the way people want it or want things to go. Nothing. It is all something like a show of convenience. Nothing is going on properly. I hope from our own side things will be better, because we are going to stand up certainly at the last moment, but I think that is where we are likely to have something better. Because as of now, what we are seeing on the field, if you have to go in for elections as of today, it's terrible. It's really terrible. You don't know who is who. Nobody is taking his head out of the water. It looks like the whole country is made of people who have no legs or have no mouths to talk. And really, we are in a stalemate, political stalemate. I won't talk of the economy, because that one is, we have been suffering that plague for decades. Every person just hopes that tomorrow will be a brighter day, and no brightness is forthcoming. So we hope that at the end of the day we'll have a change in the political team that will bring in maybe new blood, fresh impetus, more prosperity and more organization.
Okay. Is that the same reading you have of Cameroon, a nation that is at a fixed, not knowing which way to go?
Thank you very much, Leo, and thanks to our listeners. You know, when Senior Barrister was talking, I was kind of like just laughing and taking my time. And the things I'm going to say on television tonight will shock many of you. Whatever is happening today, I'm not surprised about it because I have said it several times. I saw what is happening in this spirit, and those of you who are Christians and you have the faith and you believe, God can show you things long before they happen, and tells you to walk in a particular path. People will be mocking at you, but you know that you are doing the right thing, and based on faith you will say it. And you know, after God finished his creation, he created man and asked us to be co-creators with him. And by co-creating with him, just have his mindset and just speak the word. When you speak his word and trust his word, it will do what it's supposed to do. So all that I'm going to say today, I'm not saying it in my strength. You can laugh at me, that's your problem. I'm telling you what the Spirit showed me, and I will remind you of a couple of things that I've said before that didn't make a lot of sense. You remember, Leo, I talked to you some time back about the crystal ball, the crystal ball, the crystal ball. People were laughing at me about the crystal ball. The time has come. In these 3 months that I left, you're going to be seeing a lot of things that I said that were happening. Now, listen to this. Everything in life functions on principles. But most of us in Cameroon and many other people in politics in big places, we function based on emotions and feelings, and we let go the principles and think that just because we occupy power and we can say and do as we think based on emotions and not principles and what is right, true, and just, we think we can get away with it. So it's just a question of time. When that time comes, the Tower of Babel would collapse. Now listen to this. When the children of Israel crossed through the Red Sea, you remember when those Egyptians were after them? Moses told them, these Egyptians that you see now, you will see them no more. That's where we are. And remember, as Moses was leading them through the desert, he had to be conquering those other tribes, and whenever he conquered them, he would defeat them, bring down their altars, and build an altar to God. So in the next Cameroon that is coming, we are not going to correct that Cameroon based on our own strength. It's the word of God that is going to correct it. And once it is corrected, it will be corrected in honor of God who made it, and we are going to walk a different path.
Doctor, is Cameroon
Listen,
at a
yes,
standstill?
yes, I
Are we
already said
confused
yes.
at this moment?
We are so confused, and I'm saying that confusion, it looks like confusion to all of you who don't understand what I'm trying to say. But I foresaw this confusion, and when the more confusion there is, the happier I am, and I go and pop myself a champagne, because that's where we're supposed to be. Now listen to this. You have gone into a public toilet, and we teach our children in the house. Leo, you teach your children that if you go to the toilet and you wee-wee on the toilet seat, you don't expect someone else to come and clean it. Am I correct? When you wee-wee on the toilet seat, you clean it yourself. If you break it, you fix it. If Paul Biya, if you've broken the nation, you have to fix the nation yourself before you go. That's where we are now. So there's no question. We are all agreed on the fact that the nation is broken, is chaotic, because you have to scatter the old foundation of lies, then build a new foundation of truth. That is where we are now. You cannot build something new on lies. So like you said, it's only the truth that sets us free, but the truth cannot sit with lies. So the Alibaba house must go. When the Alibaba house goes, because we are witnessing the Alibaba phenomenon now, and the Alibaba phenomenon is a very interesting thing. Have you ever noticed that if you have a bunch of people, a gang of thieves who go and steal, and they want to invest their money, do you know that a chef bandi or a thief would actually be looking for someone who is honest to manage their money? Did you notice that? So truth and honesty is where we are now. Without truth and honesty, we are going nowhere. So truth and honesty has entered the CPDM, has entered the government, has entered the opposition, has entered every Cameroonian. And when we come out of this, it will be about truth and honesty, a new foundation, and you will see how Cameroon will beat Burkina Faso.
Critical juncture, Senior Barrister, where is the problem? The fundamental problem that we fail to fix to arrive at where we are today?
Failed governance. the fundamental problem is failed governance, lack of confidence of the people in those who are governing the country. Everybody seems to be tired with the team in power, and we really need a fresh start.
Do you have the impression that the team in power is tired itself?
Well, if you have 3 ministers resigning every day and
just one minister has resigned. Bello Buba has not yet resigned.
You heard
he's going to.
You heard his outing. Anyway, if he has voiced his intention to, that is already something, because it shows that something is pushing him out of the seat, and that doesn't speak well, because it signifies that there is discontent within the government. Before Mr. Chiroma resigned, no, it's not just one. There's another one. There's another one who resigned.
A small one.
A smaller one, yes.
No,
a smaller one.
He's supposed to resign alongside the Minister Buba Bello, but they have not officially tabled their resignation. He's supposed to resign from the NUDP.
Yeah, but it shows that the coalition in power has serious problems. And when you see the fact that you have institutions that are at a standstill, look at justice. How many years now are we experiencing zero Supreme Council of Magistracy? For how many years? Everything is at a standstill. You have 4 batches of magistrates from Enam that have not been posted. They are there now. They have just been sent to go and sit in courts officiously. They cannot preside because they haven't been. There is no official posting sending them there. They are just there like they're being occupied. You look at the government itself. How long is it that it was visited? The law says after an election they have to come up with the new government. The election was 2018. What is the new government? You see, people are tired. I you talk in terms of new government. Most of the ministers who are in power today are 20 years. They have 20 years experience, 15, 10. People are tired of seeing the same faces every day, and it looks like they planted coconut trees in their offices. So I think that we need fresh blood. We need a new impetus. We need to restart this engine that looks like it's tired. It needs an overhaul, or it needs total replacement, because at this juncture I don't think this country can go to anywhere. That's the reason why I want to tell my good friend over there that we have been friends for a long time, but he has been eating alone. It's time for him to clear the table so that we put other people there, and have this country ruled otherwise, because we cannot have the same. You cannot put. I hear you were talking. Has been talking of what is that?
Option.
No, not third option. That is
Progressive
CPDM. Progressive CPDM.
Yes.
You cannot have new soup inside old dishes or old pots.
Yes,
not possible.
But we have lived an era of high instructions. Most of the decisions taken in Cameroon are on high instructions, and of recent we saw Samuel Eto'o openly say haute instruction de qui, they are coming from who, which means that more and more at the higher level, many persons are questioning where these high instructions are coming from. And when you follow the revelations from resigned Minister Issa Chiroma Bakari, who says what he said, saying that the nation cannot be ruled through delegation of powers and a host of others. Do you take his outing very seriously?
Who's outing?
Chiroma.
You know, Chiroma is someone you can put in 3 boxes at the same time.
Okay.
You don't have one Chiroma. There are 3 Chiromas in one. And so there is a Chiroma whom you can't trust. There is a Chiroma who says things that you wonder if it's the truth or it's not. And there's a Chiroma who says things at times that sound like it's truth. So at the end of the day, whenever he says something, it depends on the heat that he is feeling. So when he's put under pressure, he will say one thing, and it's left for you to judge whether whatever he's saying is true or false. So whatever Chiroma says, you need to take it with a pinch of salt. But the bottom line is, he says a couple of things. When he says that, you know, the way the government is managed is not something to write home about, that is not great. I think he is right on that. But when you remember when this guy started saying that there was no Anglophone problem and all those kinds of things, and saying his daughters do speak English, so and all that kind of. So you see, when it's time to pull a blanket on himself, he says things that are not tenable. But sometimes, you know, when the heat goes on too much, he says things, you know, to give himself some weight. And so you should have the discernment to be able to tell at what time he is telling the truth and what time he is not telling the truth. But this is the bottom line. I can understand Mr. Chiroma screaming from morning till evening how things are not working. But you remember, I said that when the new government of the third option will be coming up, the way the ministers and directors will be chosen will be based on something. It's not about their CVs. It's not about going to ENAM. It's not about appointments. It's about Mr. X in your life. What have you been able to do for yourself? What have you been able to do for the community? What have you been able to do for the nation? Show us proof of your productivity. Now, if we take that measure to Issa Chiroma and say, okay, fine, it's true you wanted to meet the president, you never met him, but Issa Chiroma as minister, you knew that there were no primary schools in your country up there in the north. And we still see you sitting by some palm fronts that are supposed to be classrooms. Show us 2 classrooms that you built with your own money, your own salary. Show us what you did to help the people. You were in charge of training youths to have skills so that they could help themselves. Show us the number of youths in the north, we are not talking about the whole nation, that you try to help by putting them through schools of vocational training. If he can show us that, fair and good, you can trust him. But I bet you he's got nothing to show, and he has a lot of blames to throw on others.
Okay, but you did not talk about the situation that is in Yaoundé, where instructions are coming from.
Oh, that's something that we need to deal with. Yeah, and he also exposed something. This issue of instructions, oath instruction, have been worrying people. And to be candid with everyone, you know, we get the impression that the Secretary General at the presidency is up to some schemes, because this is what everybody says on the street. This is what all those politicians are saying. That it looks like there's a clique in the presidency headed by the Secretary General who are looking at running away with the crown of the head of state. So if people like Issa Chiroma were complaining, and the people of the north complaining so bitterly and saying, no, we don't want any other Betty again, we better start screaming while there is still time, because you never know what surprises these guys can spring on us. And they are saying emphatically, without chewing their words, that no Betty person from the east, from the south, or from the center is going to take the crown of head of state anymore. And they have said that very clearly.
Which persons are saying so? We have democratic institutions that should determine who becomes the
next president of the republic. They are saying so. They are saying so. They are saying so. It's their democratic right to say so, and you cannot argue with them. The Bamilekes too are saying we want to take it, and the Anglophones are also saying we want to take it. And if the Betis are saying they want to take it after 43 years, and others are saying no, it's everybody's democratic right. And that is why we are having all this fight on the ground. And everybody has a democratic right to fight as long as they are not using weapons.
Okay, then is that not what is raising? We're talking about a nation that is at crossroads, a nation that has preached so much on national unity and integration, but today almost every region, every geographical location wants to identify more. The Northerners say it is our time. They seemingly are not seeing themselves as it is time for Cameroon. The Center East, the Betis, like he said, or they call themselves the Ekan, say we have to maintain power. The Bamileke says it is our time. The Anglophones say it is our time. Why do we? Is this not also a crossroads situation where the people no longer identify with? They're not talking Cameroon. They're talking village more and more.
Well, I think we have to look at that situation a bit carefully, because it is not every socio-cultural group that is thinking that way. I think I remember we had a Douala group that was formed here that is not made of Anglophones, which is saying that it is time for Anglophones. So those ones at least are not talking their own dialect. They're not talking their vernacular.
I had the representative from the Douala group here 2 days ago who actually says he does not want to, they don't believe in this ideology of an Anglophone, a Northeast, or this. They are looking for someone who carries the Cameroonian spirit. The person should identify himself more as a Cameroonian. I know that there is in the Douala group, there is a Limbi Lobe who is advocating for an Anglophone president, but Limbi Lobe was kicked out of that group already.
Okay, you've even you brought the ball back to the center. The point is still the same. The Douala group is not identifying itself with any particular community.
Yes.
At least those are people who are thinking national interests. So I think that it is a better path to tread on. Let's to think national interest. If you want to look at what is pushing the other communities to behave as they are doing, the Northerners have been in power already. The Betis have been in power already. So they have no case to present. If we want to look at their own complaints, they don't have anything to present. They have to make way for let other people have a chance. So we are talking maybe Bamileke, maybe Anglophones, but not Northerners and not Bamileke, because they have had a chance to rule the country. So what is in the interest of Cameroon today? Is it to have a Betty man continue after 43 years in power?
Is it an issue of a Betty man, or
is it
issue of a
it's
president?
important.
Please, it's very important.
It's important.
It's important. Should we allow one tribe to continue after giving them 43 years trial, whereas every person is fed up with their tenure of office? What is in the interest of the country? Is it to satisfy the ego of people, or to satisfy the national interest?
Solve problems.
National interest means putting in place people who can solve problems, who can bring solutions to problems, who can bring prosperity and sanity back to this country. Because we have the impression sanity has gone out through the window. Because if you have appointments and 60% or 70% come from one region, there is no sanity in that. If you have a country where people get out and say strangers go back to your place, there's no sanity in that. We need rulers who are going to make Cameroonians feel at home wherever they are. Nobody should be considered a stranger in this country. We need rulers who are going to bring back economic prosperity.
Okay, rulers who are going to bring back economic prosperity. Do we also have an issue of an aging leadership? We are in the 21st century, 2025, and we see where leadership is moving, especially across African nations. And do we have a problem with that in Cameroon?
Yes, we have an issue of aging leadership. First and foremost, a leadership that has not been very productive.
Okay.
And on top of that, there is this age that is coming, and when the world is going is going AI, and things are going very fast, and they can't understand what is going on around them. So we need people who can understand what is going on, and really address our problems. If we have that kind of a setup, that's what we need. When we are saying that, the next president after President Paul Biya should be an Anglophone, it's not like it's up for argument. It's not like to say that you have gone through the 4-5 million or 6 million Anglophones, and you don't see someone who has those characteristics of good leadership. It's not like to say that all Anglophones are what they call Anglophones. They are too stupid to even think. No, it's not true. So if we take our time, besides the two that we are probably seeing, besides OC and Keremuna that we are seeing, if we take our time, just forget about them and look through these people, we have people in the diaspora, we have people on the ground, and we can choose a good president from amongst them to lead Cameroon and do better than Ibrahim Traore is even doing in Burkina Faso. So let's make sure and let's make sure that we keep that in mind and follow that principle and look at ways of means of doing it. And if we really want to, we can solve the problems of Cameroon. It's just about truth, it's just about love, it's about respect, it's about giving others their space and making sure that we do things the right way. You know, solving the problems of Cameroon is very, very easy if you have your mind in place, if you respect merit, if you respect others, if you respect truth and you respect love. It's just about truth and love. And His Eminent Christian Cardinal taught me this. Do unto others as you would have it done unto you. Un point, un trait. You know, give everyone else a chance. And there's so much that we need to overhaul. There's so much that we need to overhaul. I think in the course of the evening, Leo is going to ask me how we will solve these problems, and I will go into that. I don't want to jump the horse, but solving the problems of Cameroon is one of the easiest things.
Okay, it's one of the easiest things. We're looking at a crossroads. Do we have also an issue when we look at the opposition? Is the opposition also, Cameroon's opposition, as well as civil society at the crossroads? Because, anyway, you are a member of Cameroon's opposition.
Well, you know, when you say opposition, it's not like you have opposition in some big democracies. Here we have a fleet of political parties that make up the opposition. And it's not easy to control a crowd. So, in our own case, for you to have a consensus, you have to gather quite a number of people. I was saying it before. It's not what we have now is not the best. But what I believe is that at the last minute, somebody is going to emerge, and he will dictate the pace to others. Because what is happening on the field now simply shows that those who are there are not good enough leaders. They are not good enough leaders. Somebody is going to emerge not long from now, and we are going to see exactly the qualities of a good leader that will be displayed on the field.
Yeah, but can we look at the opposition and say, okay, the government is at crossroads, but at least the opposition knows where they are going? Are they not also as confused as one may describe?
Mr. Kum, the salvation will come from the opposition. There's no doubt about that. You cannot expect salvation to come from
the CPDM.
Dying horse. Salvation cannot come from CPDM. There's no way.
Are you people listening to Cameroonians? Are you people organized? Do you people show Cameroonians that you are a better alternative?
Yes, Mr. Kum. I think that there is just a problem of misunderstanding, because people want to see the opposition together as if they were school children in a classroom. That is not possible, and it is not feasible, because we know the composition of the political parties in this country. We know what you call the opposition is made up of a big chunk of parties that are of the presidential majority. Another chunk is made of parties that are under alliance with CPDM. Another chunk is made of parties that are paid to fill the tables, give the impression that there is democracy. So if you want to look at the real opposition parties, they're not up to 20. They're not up to 20. You are now just to carry everybody up. It will never go to anywhere. My point is, now that the electorate is going to be convened, when the candidates are finally accepted, that is when you will see a real leader emerge. You will see it, because once the candidates are validated, those people who are there to distract will make way for the real people to stand, and those real people now will, from among the real people who will stand, will emerge a leader, and everybody will be behind. That's what I believe.
Dr. Nick Angwanya,
yes,
our opposition, do they really inspire hope? Do they give the sense that they are better organized and they have a direction far better than what we are living today?
Leo, I wish you could go back to my videos that were on television some time back, and you remember me telling you that we had 367 political parties, and when we start going down the road, at the end of the day, there will be only 3 or 4 parties left standing. You remember? And I said that the MRC will end up with a bleeding nose, the SDF will have a black eye, and Cabral Libi would be limping. So you might want to add UNDP to it. But the bottom line is that you have 365 groups of persons making a lot of noise. But I'm telling you, watch me. At the end of the day, you will not have more than 4 political parties standing. And they will find it very, very difficult to have one unique candidate for the reasons that Meta has already given. They are all very greedy and very selfish. Even as he's speaking here like that, all of them, if you trust any of them to it's at your own risk. Now, that said, the opposition has one major problem. And you notice that if you were following what was happening, everything was about MRC. But I was surprised the other day when somebody wrote in French, après la démission, so to speak, of Monsieur Bouba Bello Maigari, enfin, l'opposition a retrouvé son vrai opposant. So you see, it's like the NUEDP, which was an ally of the CPDM, he jumps out and he's standing there. Then everybody with the MRC come and bow before him, say, you are our Lord. You see, so there's a problem. There's a problem. Now, that said, let me show you exactly where the problem in Cameroon is, where the problem of the CPDM is, where the problem of the opposition is. And that is where the third option that is going to come, or the progressive CPDM, takes their strength from. For the past 65, I don't know how many years that Cameroon has been existing, we have been walking on the wrong path. And politicians, opposition and CPDM, as all of them together, have had one mindset of being a civil servant, of having power, and then just using the power to fill your pockets, to feel big, throw yourself around and get worshipped and be praised. But they never realized that when you have power, is to use the power to solve problems of the nation. And these problems are problems of economics, problems of development, problem of agriculture, problem of education, problems of industrialization, problems of food, all sorts of problems. So you see, that's why you see, the CPD has been there for 43 years. When you say, what did you do? They've got nothing to show you, but everybody just throwing their jackets up. Beyond those jackets, there is nothing. Il n'y a rien à voir. And go check all those people who are political leaders, opposition political leaders. Check the big ones and the small ones. Go and check Bouba Bello Maigari. What problems has he ever solved? How many people? And the best way to, each of them should tell you what structure or industry or factory they created and how many youths did they employ. To how many people have they been paying salaries? Yeah, that's the problem. So that is the measure that we are going to use going forward. Whether you're a presidential candidate, whether you are going to be chosen as minister or director, what have you done for yourself? What have you done for your community? What have you done for the country? People have sweet tongues. If you listen to someone like Cabral Libi, he's a good tuner, so to speak. He will come talk nicely, but it all ends at talk, sweet talk. Nothing behind that sweet talk. All of them check. So the time has come for that veil to be taken off, and nobody is listening to the sweet talk. If someone says, make me the president so that I will do this, say, show us what you have done without being the president. Show us what you have done with 2 talents, so that when we give you 5 talents, we will be sure where we are going to. You cannot be given 1 talent, 2 talents, you've done nothing with them, you've buried them, cannot show proof of anything. Then you are saying, no, I can only do something if you give me 5 talents. Now lie.
What about the electorates? Are they not also as confused as the leaders? Cameroon civil society, how active, how positive have they been over the years?
Well, I think I would like to say something on what my good friend just said before answering your question, because I said it was a little bit too early for people to come out properly, and I think after listening to him, I want to remind him that he is on a good footing when he says that the candidate should be asked, "What have you done for yourself?" Good. When the time comes, you will see the people. You will not even need to ask. You will see, look, say, "Oh no, he has done this, he has done that." You will see it. So you see, let us wait and see the crossing line. Those who cross that line, how many are they? Among those, what is each one presenting to the population? Then you will see, because you don't read. You don't try to appreciate something that you don't know. Get informed first. Then you shall know how to appraise. The appraisal time has not yet come. Wait, let people put themselves on the table. You will be surprised, my good friend, because it is not all about TV shows. It's not all about making coalitions. A lot of work is being done on the ground without noise. I hear you calling some certain names. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, because I've been absent from TV, from public appearance for almost 2 months. Nobody asked where I went to. But I want to assure you that those 2 months were not spent drinking matango. I'm a Muslim. They were spent on work, grass-field work, and it is paying. Yeah. And you will see with your eyes. Just wait. It's no longer far. We'll see. Now, when you come to the civil society, we have all seen the efforts made by civil society to try to bring political parties together. They've been threatening us, form coalitions, or we shall not vote for you. Well, the civil society is caught between the devil and the deep blue sea. They will not vote for the opposition. They want to vote for the ICPD. You see, now they are forced to vote for the opposition, because the opposition before election day will present a more credible candidate who will show them that I am the person on whom you can rely. As of now, everybody seems to be saying only a coalition can win, but that position is no longer tenable when we see that the CPDM so-called base in the north has been blown up. It's been blown up. When you talk of UNDP, it gives the impression there is a party that is standing. No, sir. It's in shambles. UNDP is in shambles. They have resignations inside the party. It is split into our four sections. Shiroma's own is the same. So as people are scattering inside CPDM, they are scattering inside UNDP, they are scattering inside FSA. You just check their social media. But those of us who go to the ground, we know exactly what is happening inside there. So let those paper giants stand, because what they are not telling you is that up there, people tell them you have worked with Bia, you are as accountable with Bia for all the 42 years of failure. You work and only give the benefit to yourself and your family. You have built houses in all these neighboring countries and even your villages. None of your countrymen even benefits from anything. So we don't love you, we don't want you anymore. Give way, let new people come up.
Why do we find, if what you're saying is the truth, we find almost every opposition party member except you, they are all rushing to meet Isa Chiroma and Bello.
Because I know what is happening to the ground. Yeah, I cannot go there because, please, let me not let the cat out of the bag. I can't go there because I know what is happening. And I am not innocent.
What is happening?
I am not very. I have told you that the parties are blowing up into shambles.
Yeah, is that not the more reason why they want to come together?
No, the parties are. What benefit will it be to me if I go see somebody who no longer has a following?
Senior barrister, is a party that stands on its own, can it beat the CPDM today?
I said something there that people don't seem to understand. No. I say when we cross the final line, you will see that there are coalitions existing. They are coalitions. They have not been made public, so people think there's no they are coalitions. It is not time for anybody to announce anything. They are coalitions. Bigger coalitions, powerful coalitions, which will shut everybody up.
Civil society, when you see Cameroonians, because we are talking about Cameroon at crossroads, we have leadership, we have the citizens themselves. How productive, how positive minded are Cameroonians?
The problem is with Cameroonians, you know, I've said it before. I've said it before, and we've got to be very careful. Everything in life functions on three legs, just like this camera stand, and I've said it before. You have to understand politics. You have to understand economics. You have to understand development. And each of these elements has got an part A and part B to it. And I have said it before that these three elements, what drives these three elements to perfection or to productivity is sound education. And I have said it before that in the last 65 years, our education in Cameroon has failed. It's not good. Because the education has failed, the politics has failed, the economics has failed, and the development has failed. That's why you see dirty towns in Yaoundé, potholes everywhere and so on. And you have all sorts of people everywhere whose mindsets are not in place. We were never trained to solve problems. That is our biggest problem. No skills. So when you listen to a lot of people talking on television, they're only talking, you know, what you call la politique politicien. This one is beautiful, this one is short, and oh, this one is fat, this one is thin. But they are not telling you concrete things. Now, when the right time comes, and it is started now, of course, we will move the political debate from this empty noise and hate speech and whatever, and move it to economics, to entrepreneurship, to wealth creation, to job creation, to import substitution. How do we move Cameroon from where it is now, turn around in circles, to become a great economy in Africa? How do we transform our raw materials? How do we stop importing rice, wheat, and alcohol into Cameroon? How do we provide 1 million jobs for youths every year in Cameroon? What do we need to do? Concrete things. Now, all these people, all these opposition people, and most of the people in the CPDM, put them on a television set, ask them this question, they will not answer because they spend time, you know, talking theory, all those professors talking theory in the air, and they have never solved a problem. That has been the problem with Cameroonians. We talk a lot, but we achieve absolutely nothing. And that is what, as a nation, we must correct. Otherwise, we become slaves to the Chinese.
Okay, become slaves with the Chinese. At the economic level, things have been very difficult. We have increase in basic prices of basic commodities for so many years now, very difficult to contain. When we look at the nature of our cities and villages, very little to write home about. What is not working? Is it the fact that we are so poor, or the fact that we lack those who can organize and transform our cities and economy?
Thank you, Mr. Kum. You see, when you inherit a system from colonial masters and you maintain that system, you are trying to run a country on colonial lines. And a colony is not meant to be self-sufficient. A colony is meant to feed the colonial master. So you cannot expect any prosperity from a colony, from a colony or an ex-colony, because it's running on the same model that was put in place by the colonial master. So what we are experiencing is exactly that situation, because all the institutions that we have were put in place by the colonial master, France. So what type of prosperity do you expect this current government to give the country?
You mean the city mayor of Douala city, the mayors of Douala 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they were put there by France and asked not to clean
up. I say the structures, sir. I'm not talking of the mayor, the people who were just.
Yeah, but they are there to work. Why are they not delivering?
Look at the way they were put. Were they democratically elected? When I say they are following a colonial format, we all know what happened. If you take the case of the one in Douala, the person was supposed to be city mayor. We know. An envelope came from Yaoundé and they said, it is this man. And they all clapped. But we know.
You mean PCRN did not win its councils? Bello Buba did not win his council.
I just,
are you saying that did not win the council in Bafoussam?
Let me. The rest? Yeah. Now you are asking. I voted in Bonaberi. All of us in Bonaberi voted SDF. But who won? It is not. It's an open secret that CPDM and SDF share councils. They share councils. It's an open secret. So the people who are there did not forcefully win. So you cannot take colonial institution and continue with them and expect to get good results. We have to dismantle all this nonsense and put in place institutions that are going to bring prosperity to Cameroonians. Because what we have in place cannot.
Is a problem the institutions or the persons manning and running these institutions? Because it's like decentralization and federation. One would believe that, or one would think that once you put in place federation, things will turn around. But without the personnel, with the sound education and the sound mind, like you just said, can things actually work, even if you were to put the best structures?
Yeah, it has to do with persons and mindsets. It has to do with persons and mindset in the first place. Then in the second place might be colonial things and so on. But while we in Cameroon, we like to use that colonial apparatus as a shield to excuse our failures. But we went to school, and instead of learning how to break free and think freely, we continue to cram and recite and give ourselves big certificates. That's why you see people, crying on the street with PhDs and cannot solve problems. That's exactly it. And if you've been following what I've been saying all this while, when the third option comes to power, ENAM will be shut down so that it will go in line with what Barrister has just been saying. That ENAM is accounting for 80% of our problems. ENAM must go. NASLA must go. Senate must go. Social and Economic Council must go. That bilingualism thing and it must go. These 5 will go on day 1. Then after that, we will see those ministries, we will merge them into 25. All those things about assistant ministers, all those things will go. We have a large number of people who are feeding fat on the national cow and producing absolutely nothing. And what has made this government to fail is the fact that His Excellency President Paul Biya, whom I love very much, who is my candidate, unfortunately, for these 43 years, he trusted people who had zero capacities. So you just take people and put them in post because they are political, this, political, that. Political this and that does not solve a problem. Cameroonians want their problems solved. They don't want political compensations. No. So we are saying that as we go into the third option, even my friend here, the barrister, forget it. If you don't have no capacities, forget it. It's about capacity. Do you have a capacity to solve problem? And then we are going to give double nationalities or permanent residence certificates for all our diaspora to come back home and help us. And you know that those administrators, they were blocking the people of the diaspora because they knew that if the people of the diaspora came back, they will be washed out of their posts. So the time has come now, you are going. And we are going to fill up all those places with people who have the capacity to solve problems, whether you like it or not. That is the principle of the third option.
Okay, we're looking at economic crossroads that the nation actually is facing. We have youth unemployment. It's good that you are a candidate here. We have the issue of youth unemployment. A large portion of the population is under 35 in Cameroon, but there are no jobs available. Corruption and mismanagement of our resources continue, and they continue to erode a public trust and belief in the institutions that you're talking about.
Yes, Mr. Kum. You see, I believe that what we need is strong institutions and not strong personalities. It is not a problem of people. It's a problem of institutions. Now, you just talked of corruption. Look at those ministries.
Institutions is like the best. You design and build the best plane. It is, but you need a pilot to
Can
drive
you,
it.
can you give me time to
go on,
talk, sir?
go on.
All right. Now, if you take those ministries in Yaoundé, the way they are structured, can you think of any way possible under the sun that you can stop corruption in any of those ministries? You cannot. I mean, it is, you can give all the adjectives on earth on those ministries. They are houses for thank you, Papa. Thank you, Uncle. In fact, at the moment somebody is appointed, the following day, all his cousins, nephews, everybody in the village comes for employment. Packs everybody there. There are ministries where they speak the country talk. We all know that. So that structure, that colonial structure, has to be dismantled. Now, you are talking of corruption. We have a whole government in prison for
I'm talking about principles now. Forget it has nothing to do with Cameroon. It has something to do with how you train your children, how you train your citizens the world over. Watch my lips. 75% of all successes, personal success, group success, national success depends on character and attitude. 25% of that success depends on your certificates from school. Even if you have 10 PhDs, it doesn't account for more than 25% of your success, which means that you could have 20 PhDs to your name, but if you are a liar, a thief, and very crooked, you are going nowhere. And so when you are recruiting people and you say, look, I have a job opportunity and I'm going to recruit 2 people with a master's degree, you would have 50 of them showing up with master's degree. Beyond that, you will say, what have you done before? You want to test their skills, and then you go beyond that to check on their character. It is that character that is most important. It's the character that sets the goat apart from the sheep. And therefore, when I came from a very good school. I went to a very good school, CPC Bali, of those days. And those of us who went to CPC Bali in those days, we are a different breed in this nation, and it is that breed and is what we learned in CPC that is going to correct this nation, Cameroon. Because the whole nation, with all these, there are government schools and private schools with children going everywhere, knifing their teachers and beating everybody around. The nation is crazy. It's a mad nation. It's about character and attitude. You can have all the money and all the opportunities, it will not work. When you say there's Can Gate, COVID Gate, Glencore Gate, the road to Yaoundé is not being built, and the price is multiplied 5 times, or I don't know how many times. All these things are happening because of lack of character. It's not lack of money. So until we realize that we have to go back to the basics and make sure that we have proper home training, and make sure that we teach our children the respect of self, respect of public property, and respect of others properly in the schools and in our homes, we are going nowhere. If you are talking of building strong systems, those systems start in our families and in our communities before they ever go into the government office. So if you are going to have a bunch of ministers who are all thieves, you are messed up.
Okay, you are messed up. One of us, we are at crossroad because also we have almost every minister who is there. Once you have to interview them about a tap that has to come to Lendi or Fangudombange, they'll say the wise counsel of the head of state. It means that from their words, it means no minister thinks until even if you are to buy toilet papers for a government bilingual high school, to hand them, the day you're handing, you see the wise counsel of the head of state. The head of state thinks for every minister of almost every director. Is that not also to some extent a problem where people no longer think because they are imagining how the head of state will appreciate their moves?
Mr. Kum, you see, when you listen to Mr. Chiroma, he said he has spent 7 years without seeing the head of state. This simply means that people who come to tell you that following the wise counsel, they are bootlickers. Mr. Bia, that we know, when he appoints anybody, never comes back to tell the person, do like this, do like that. Use your intellect. Use your intellect and run the place well. The day you are called upon to come and render accounts, give proper accounts. So people take refuge under this umbrella of wise counsel of head of state, because they think that when they say so, the head of state will catch the head of state attention and say there's somebody here who is praising me. No, sir, they are praising us. Mr. Bia doesn't need those praises, but unfortunately he doesn't have time to tell them that I don't need your praises. They should do their work, but they are not doing it. As you really say, you correctly say, they don't do the work for which they are put there. They hide behind the wise counsel, and that is what accounts for the stagnation. You just asked me the question. You say that there is a lot of unemployment. The Vice Council of the Head of State will tell you that there were 3,000 employed. That is to say, they have employed people. Excuse me. They have employed people into the army. The B has taken 2,000. Police 500, Gendarmerie 500. That makes 3,000. Those are the employment. Nonsense. That's not employment. Now, if somebody like Ashu were to come to power, I have said this severally. You cannot run a country without one activity acting as a stimulus. We have agriculture. There is nothing to stimulate agriculture. I propose that if I'm president, I will create, immediately after the constitutional conference, I will create 30,000 direct job opportunities for the youth. 1,000 from each region will receive 10 million francs from the state to go do agriculture. Another 1,000 from each region, that makes, will receive 10 million to go do petty trade business. Another 1,000 will receive 10 million to go do startups. Let us see at the end of the year what they come out with. That's just for the beginning. Then you have to make Cameroon the real bread basket of Africa. We have the potential, we have the land, we have the people, we have the resources. Why do we import corn? Why do we import palm oil from Gabon? Why? We can produce it. What is the state doing to help the people who have those farms that can produce these commodities? Nothing. So we are going to do just that. We start by dividing agriculture into two. We have an economic, an international market for agricultural products to stop foreigners from invading the local market and causing inflation. So if you come from Gabon, Equatorial Guinea, Nigeria, Congo, all those countries, you will not have access to our local market. We shall serve you at the international market, buy there and go. Then we come now and organize our local market to bring down the cost of farm produce and give more money to the farmers. Create cooperatives. Go to research centers and take good yield, good seedlings. Give to the farmers to improve their yield. Create cooperatives so that what they produce should be taken away from them and sold at better prices so they can have more money. That way, you help the people to have work. You create more projects like what we had at Yabasi here, what Ahijo had at Yabasi here. Create more pioneer projects where you send young men down, open fields, make plantations, and produce. You don't just leave the country like that. So you cannot sit and say, I am counting on the army, the police, the gendarmerie for employment. We have in place a government that has put in place a public sector driven economy, and it does not exist anywhere else in the world. We need a market oriented economy, not a public service driven economy.
Okay. Good evening to you, Mr. Liu, and to your great panelists. I have a question for each of your panelists, if you would permit me. To Dr. Nick, you are a role model to many youths in Cameroon, but sir, do you think the CPDM should still be voted mindful of their failures for decades, which you keep mentioning? Do you think it is time for change? Because if you condemn the system and praise the leader, it's simply sending contradictory messages. To Senior Barrister, sir, don't you think we can learn from Nigeria, where coalitions are being made public and the electorates are prepared for the elections which will be in 2 years? Peter is writing from Limbe.
Now, thank you very much, Peter. I would answer that question of yours, and please remind me, because I want to take on something that Senior Barrister Ashu said a moment ago. Okay. Because he's saying things there are some half-truths in what he's saying. Part of what he's saying is good. Part of what he's saying, the strategy is wrong. And I can understand that because when it comes to entrepreneurship, it's a different world altogether. And he was trying to show how he will solve a problem. But I'm telling him that if he were to be the president and do that, he will fail twice as much as President Paul Biya. No, he said that when he is president, he will go around and share 10 million to youths. And people have gone to PRC and other banks taken money and it's not worked. So you have great ideas, but you don't know how to implement them. What you are doing is just the same like people who win the national lottery. They have millions, but 2 weeks afterward they go and marry women and so on and so on. And the money is gone. You need, that's why education is first and foremost. You need to train people in skills. You need to train people in entrepreneurship. You need to hold their hands, and then don't give them money. If you are going to do agriculture, you give them the inputs. You import the machines from China and give them the land, give them the seeds, give them everything and help them in the process. But even before then, you have to train them. One good thing that you said, for instance, is that, and which is what the third option has been saying, and that's what the third option will do, we have the capacity and the know-how to create 1 million jobs for youth in Cameroon every year. The strategies are laid out. It's not about sharing money to people. If you do that, they will all drink Mimbo and they will all fail. Because training is important. Skills transfer is very, very important. That was just to correct a certain issue. But know that whatever happens, whether we go up or down, the third option is going to be helping. We are helping youth. We will be walking the walk with you and giving you what it takes through certifications to create 1 million jobs in a year. The jobs are not in the civil service like Barrister said. The jobs are in the private. Yes. When I say barrister, is senior, is most senior. Just okay, like the most senior said, is creating jobs in the private sector, not in the civil service. And we'll correct that. Let me hear that question again from our friend. Just remind me. And
yes, he is saying that to Dr. Nick, you are a role model to many youths in Cameroon. But sir, do you think the CBDM should still be voted mindful of their failures for decades, which you keep mentioning? Don't you think it's time for change? Because if you condemn the system and praise the leader, it's simply sending contradictory messages.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me take time to explain. I mean, I had noticed this problem a long time ago. Leo, you noticed that I used to come on television and speak under the banner of the CPDM, and many CPDM people will be throwing rotten eggs at me and say, you are not a CPDM, you're not, because I used to speak the truth. So in the meantime, you and I crafted this thing, and I told you about it, that I will be speaking now as a progressive CPDM, which is not the pure CPDM that you people know about. And the progressive CPDM is about truth and love and being productive, not making noise or telling lies. That's what progressive CPDM is all about. If there's anything else, forget it. Progressive CPDM is different. It's not the CPDM. And then I want to tell you something about.
But it carries the CPDM trademark.
Yeah, it carries the CPDM trademark, but a different flavor.
It's utopic.
Well, you can say it's utopic. We are in it now. Wait until we are done with 2025, then you would understand. For now, you're not seeing. You still have skills.
I'll be in power by then.
All right. Then we are walking the walk together. Now, listen to me, guys. You see, you have to understand what leadership is. And then there is a book that I read. I read that book. The title of the book is Why People Behave the Way They Do. Then you also have to understand the different kinds of leadership. You have to understand the different persons you are dealing with. So, for instance, when you look at President Paul Biya, he is a leader, fair and good. But there are two types of leaders, two big groups of leaders. There are leaders who lead from the front. You know that if you go into the east, in the Middle East, they have a lot of sheep, and you will notice that the shepherd always walks in front of the sheep, and the sheep come after him. So those are leaders who lead from the front, like the leader of Burkina Faso. Now, Paul Biya is a different kind of leader. He is a leader who leads from the back. What does that mean? He trusts you and believes that you have what it takes to make things happen. That's why Senior Barrister Ashu was saying that for 7 years he gives Issa Bakari the power. Instead of Issa Bakari going out there to solve the problem, Issa Bakari is looking back at him and say, tell me when to sweep my office. Tell me when to do this. You see, that's the problem. Because they don't even understand the different kinds of leadership and what they ought to be doing. Somebody gives you power, be proactive and use it. When Paul Biya gives you power, you support him not by making all those sing-songs. I mean, my friend Jarvis here knows that on television, it's 5 years now, I've been telling all those CPDM people to shut up and stop singing these praises to Paul Biya. He doesn't need all that crap. If you want to praise to support President Paul Biya, support him by working. Support him by solving the problems for him which he appointed you. He did not appoint you to form a choir. That's not the reason why he appointed you. You are singing the choir. That's not what he wants. And we have sung the choir until at the end of the day we have realized that the choir is giving nothing. And the thing is, those that stole more were the ones who are singing most. So I said that those who were singing the choir, when you sing, Kona will come after you and they all shut up. Now this is it. As you were saying, they will say, oh, we are waiting for instructions from the president. But when they are stealing from the budget, do they go for instructions from the president? That is the catch. So they are saying instruction from the president to excuse their failures. So after having understood this, I'm here to say that we are going to help President Paul Biya to transition the power from where it is now, which is failed, to something that works, because there must be that transition. And we have all agreed that the first option, which means that an opposition to take over power, is failed. You can see Senior Barrister actually sitting up here, he himself is as confused as you and I. You know, that thing is not going to work. The opposition is not going nowhere. Wow. And then you take the CPDM as it is now with all those, there are 40 ministers, 60 ministers, the population has vomited them. For 64, 43 years, they produce nothing. So there must be a third option. And that third option is, we say, President Paul Biya, Grandpa, you are the one who has the power, and you are the one who win the elections. Sit over there. Then we come and do something which is the joker. You know, for people who play cards, there's that thing called the joker. What is the joker in this? The joker in this is the government, a new government of technocrats and entrepreneurs, taken from all over the national territory, taken from the diaspora. They don't carry a CPDM ticket. You know, the government now is, oh, everybody CPDM. No, that's gone. People will be chosen from any political party, from any tribe, based on their capacities to solve problems. You bring that team together, you have a great team manager who will be the vice president, who manages that team very well and solves problems. That is what is going to happen. It's not about President Paul Biya. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Can I have my question, please?
Yes, somebody is asking that where are you going to raise the funds to go through with elections? But let me go to that question. I'm being failed, but some persons are asking. Senior Barrister wants to go for elections. Where is he going to raise the funds? And okay, the question has to do with what is happening in Nigeria. They're already forming a coalition.
A coalition for 2 years. Okay, yeah, that makes two questions. Okay, for the funds, I think it's a bit late because it's not on the market day that you start feeding your fowl. If I don't have the funds to run the election, then I should not be running. Okay. But I want to assure you that there is no candidate that is as prepared as Ashu. For the funds, leave that side. There's nobody as prepared as me. Okay. Now, for the coalition, people used to say Cameroon is Cameroon. Cameroon is Cameroon. Nigeria, go to Nigeria, you can form coalition for 2 years. But in Cameroon, can you do that? Some people tried. We saw they had an official reaction from the powers that be. I told them that, look, that thing is not authorized here. So if you want to form a coalition here, you should know how to trade. And that's why I say we shall have a coalition, but not now, because considering our own political atmosphere here, a good coalition will only be after the validation of the candidatures. That is when we shall have a good coalition that nobody will be able to influence. Now, let me come to what I heard my good friend say here, giving a very bad impression of a very noble project that we put in front. It will be very totally misleading for any person to think that Ashu will carry 10 million and begin to throw to people. Now, if we say direct employment, that simply means we are going to put in place an organization that will coordinate coordinate those activities. You don't give money to people without training them. You see, when you are on TV, you don't have enough time to go into those details. I said that in problem. When it comes to practice, you will see that instead of 30 million, there will be the price for the machinery that will be used, price for the fertilizers and all those things. So you don't give him money, you buy all the things which he needs to work and give him, and all that is counted inside the money. If you give the money to him, of course, like a good Cameroonian, the first thing he'll do is go and marry a wife, or marry a second one, or buy a second-hand car. We are aware of all those things, so we cannot carry hard-earned government money, state money, and give somebody, put it in his hands. No, sir. Another one will take the road to Lampedusa to go and try his luck. Sir, we are going to make sure that any recipient is not only tutored, but he's monitored and controlled. You don't fool around with government money. We are giving you money, but you have to work. You do the work. We make sure that you actually carry out that project. So, sir, your mind can be at rest. We are not going to throw money to the air. We are going to put in place an organization that is going to see to it that the recipients are trained, followed up, and the results will be guaranteed. I don't know whether I answered your question, sir.
Okay, the question has been answered. We are also at crossroads when we look at the relationship that Cameroonians, especially the government, has with its diaspora. It's been a very hostile equation which needs resolution also.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I'm sure you are addressing the question to me.
Yes, but he's also going to.
Yeah, I will.
Yes, this thing has been hanging on for long, and it's about the structure of our government and the people who are in government. You know that this government is run, 90% by graduates from ENAM. And you also know that if you go checking all those people who are in positions of power, 90% of them are from the arts sector. About 10% only can be from the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. That is the structure. And you also know that, the large population of Cameroon, 80%, are also from the arts background. So when you choose someone, when somebody is chosen from that background and given a post, it's like gold. They don't joke with it. That's why they will kill anyone else to maintain it, to hang on to it, and they will tell all sorts of lies to hang on to it. Because as soon as you remove them from that post and throw in the community, they are dead. Go and check them. They can't do anything for themselves. They need that office. And therefore, people who are in power, who go to ENAM now, become the ministers and so on, they conserve that fortress for themselves and their children. They say, if you've been out there, you're not coming back. You see, I left secondary school in 1975, CPC Bali, from 5 in 1975, and at that time I was aware of all those scholarships. Some of my friends went abroad, that the government was sending our best children to go study abroad so that they could come back. But I tell you, all those people who went abroad, none of them ever came back. A few of them tried to come back, and then the system made it so difficult for them to set foot in here and make anything work. And so it's this group of people who don't even understand wealth creation. They don't understand how to make use of all these people to be able to build the economy, and then they intentionally refuse our children the opportunity of having double nationalities or permanent residence certificates, permits, which is something that the third option is going to correct on the first day. When the day you hear that the third option is in power, start making your boxes, because you are getting the double nationality by DHL. You are getting double nationality and these people used to block those people outside because they were afraid of the capacities that the diaspora was bringing. And if they came in with those capacities and everything worked on merit, all of them will be kicked out with no exception. So they were protecting their Gari, so to speak, but the time for Gari is over. It's now about building the nation, and that problem would be solved.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, with all due respect to my friend here, most of our children go out for greener pasture, and many of them do make the greener pasture. They get the pasture, they get so rich, and they become a threat to the people who are in power. Because if that wealth were to be brought back here, you know, one of the main policies of African countries, of African governments, is to impoverish the opposition so that nobody rises up, nobody rises tall enough to challenge the people in power. So we are no exception. Our diasporans that are rich, if allowed to come home, will certainly cause political earthquake. That's why I think there is reticence. But looking at it closely, that reticence is causing us a lot of havoc, because a national has the right to repatriate his profits. If your son goes out as a Cameroonian, walks anywhere in the world with his Cameroonian identity, he has the right, if he wants to come back home, to repatriate his profits and his property. We are losing out on all that. I have a number of clients who have come back from abroad and who cry. Say, but how can I, a Cameroonian, come to Cameroon and I pay resident permit? I, Cameroonian, I pay a residence permit to be in Cameroon, to be in my own country. It's terrible. My senior brother came back here. He had American nationality and Cameroonian nationality. The commissioner at the immigration told him to elect. You are either American or Cameroonian. He said, okay, I'll stay American. So now when he comes to Cameroon, he behaves as an American. He can't be here for more than the period that he's authorized to stay. That is bad, because your own children are strangers in your home. I remember the case of our famous, world-famous musician, Richard Bona. How can you tell Richard Bona that he's not a Cameroonian? How? No, that's terrible. So we personally think that double or triple nationality is very welcome, but we have to be careful, because any person, there has to be a limitation. We admit double or triple nationality, but if you want to come into the administration, you have to drop the other nationalities. We will not have a foreigner ruling this country. Yeah. That's the limitation we want to put. You have to drop the other nationality if you want to rule the country, and you have to be here for at least maybe 2 years before the mandate you are trying to run for, to acclimatize. You can't leave from some land where I know not where, and come here with foreign ideas. You don't know how people are living because you have a lot of money. In fact, as I'm talking, there are villages that are experiencing this already. I don't want to call names, but diasporans came in with a lot of money, went and fought for chieftaincy. The person who was entitled to the chieftaincy, a local man, had no money, but the other man came with a lot of money and shoved him aside. And the villagers got up and said, no, this is not possible. You cannot come here with money and kick aside the person who is entitled to this thing. So that village is in trouble today because of that. Split into two between the villagers who want the rightful person to stand there and those who support money, who want the diaspora, the rich diaspora, to sit on the seat. You see, so it's a real problem. If you want to enter management or at local administration, you have to drop the other nationalities.
Yeah, it is true, Dr. Nick. You keep talking about the Enam mentality, but Enam recruits are gotten from our communities, from our respective communities. Those who go to the gendarme, Marie schools also come, as well as police. They are. When you look at the work culture itself in Cameroon, are you inspired? Are you happy with the way the service delivery in Cameroon? That is, do Cameroonians actually love to work? Because if we are blaming the other side, in your sector, you are in the private sector, how is work culture?
Yeah, work culture is one thing, you know. Let me say it. To understand the concept of work culture in Cameroon, I would say that we don't like work. We don't like work, and we don't know what work is. If we were to look at a hardworking community like the Japanese, the South Koreans, they are very hardworking, and we give them a score of 80 as far as work ethics is concerned. Cameroonians don't make 25% of that score. So let's understand it as that when it comes to work ethics, Cameroonians don't know what it is. But Cameroonians who have gone abroad and have been struggling to put bread on the table, they get to correct that. Otherwise, we don't know what we are. 8 hours at work, but we don't do 8 hours of work. That's why people will go to the office, hang their jackets, they go and drink and come back. We don't know what service is all about. We don't know what productivity is all about. We look for a job, make all sorts of promises, but once we get the job, delivering becomes a real problem. And I used to have a problem, I am an employer, and my wife and the other staff, they laugh at me because I was so stupid sometimes, in my employment. So I would send out a job, offer out there. I say, hey, I have this position, and then people will send me beautiful CVs, and I would take the CVs and I will go through them and shortlist. Then I will look at the ones that are beautifully written, and I will put them aside, and I will go to the committee that was selecting. I say, I have seen some good ones. This one must be taken. This one, based on CVs, and I burnt my hands big time. Those CVs, they are computer generated, and at the end of the day, you pick someone with a very beautiful CV. But when it comes to productivity, when it comes to character, there is absolutely zero. Especially now with AI, don't get fooled. Don't get fooled. Le maçon se juge, how do you say it in French? That French, my man. Le maçon se juge au pied de mur. Yeah, that is it. So, if someone says that he knows how to do agriculture, take him to the farm. Let him show you the agriculture on the farm. All those technicians with agriculture, masters and PhD in agriculture, I've taken many of them. When it comes to farming, there is no farm.
Okay. Good evening to you, Judge Babila Fon, watching us surely from Boya. You see, our government is not futuristic. We need a new leadership in the country. We need roads, light, problem-solving education, and good governance. Best regards to the royal peacemaking monarch von Bolingong III. Okay. You see, CPDM militants are unfair to present incumbent President Paul Biya as their candidate. The work culture is a problem, both at the public as well as the private sectors in Cameroon. Do you have a mechanism to fix that?
Well, when you say work culture is a problem, I still come back to what I was saying. I will not build any government that will be based on feelings.
Okay. Meritocracy. Yeah. On
feelings. Meritocracy. Like he was talking CV. No, sir. Come and show me what you are capable of doing. I am not interested in a CV.
Good.
Are you a tractor driver? That's a tractor. Drive it. Drive the tractor. Don't tell me that I have this diploma. Drive the tractor.
Correct.
Simple. Yes. You say character, what, please. There should be strong institutions that guide, because those strong characters have to work within the framework of strong institutions that will make them not fall prey to temptation. Because you seem to forget that aspect of it. Temptation. Somebody comes, is upright, but around him there are opportunities of temptation. When he falls prey, he tastes of the forbidden fruit. Now corruption comes in. So we are saying that you should have strong institutions that make it impossible, even if he intended to, he will not be able to touch the money. That is what we think. So work culture, I think I want to take that one. Look at what is happening in the public service. The minister comes out with a series of communiques. Any person who is absent for 45 days will be declared absent. 45 days, man. Up to you are the employer. 45 days. No, come to private sector. You are absent the first day. We know that you are absent. So we want that every business unit or every administrative unit, you should have technological means to prove that you are there every day. When you enter, you put your fingerprint. Bang! It goes down. Tell me that you give bribe to machine so that it also prints your fingerprint. We should make sure that you are at work and you do the work, because there's a difference between being at work and actually working. If you come to work, take your name and go out, you are not working. So you should be supervised. At the end of the day, somebody should see what you did, which I don't see anywhere. So if I'm going to be in power, sir, be sure that all that absenteeism and maneuvering to fool the employer will disappear. We shall make sure that you work and we see the work that you have done. Don't come and show me certificates, because I want to see what you are capable of doing. I will judge you from your output, not from your degrees that you are presenting.
Okay, you're going to be judged based on output, that is performance on the field, and not necessarily on the certificates that are going to be presented by some dubious job seekers. Special greetings to my literature teachers in GHS, Mr. Babung and Mr. Sigala Thomas. I hope you are doing well out there in Womb, Chieftain of Menchum Division. And we've talked about work culture. And at the end of the day, if things are not working well in Cameroon, where should focus be today? We are moving towards the end of a mandate, and after that, a new mandate is going to. Where should focus be to fix Cameroon today?
The focus shall be on merit. You merit it, you get it. And then, since we know that the problem is there, we'll put a mechanism to sieve already from day one.
Okay.
All of those things will be corrected. We will. Let me give you a great example. I keep using Camtel because everybody understands Camtel. Camtel is a great, national structure, but is working under the pass mark. Let me explain. That structure has 4,000 people working in it, and most of them, 80%, about 70 to 80% of the people working in Camtel are not technicians. And you know that Camtel is a technical service. Most of them who are there are those arts people doing administration, moving paper from with nothing in it from left to right and so on, sitting in meetings, going up and down and so on, and the technical work is not being done. The things that are supposed to be done are not being done. If you were to switch it around so that 80% of the people who are working in Camtel are technicians at their right positions and so on, and they should not be 4,000, they should be 1,000 or 1,500 at most, so that they compete and beat MTN and Orange at their job. Can you imagine that Camtel has all what it takes, and then MTN and Orange, they buy the product that they sell to the public from Camtel, and they make money more than Camtel. So, and when I'm saying it has a plethora of people, who are those people? They are wives of big people, girlfriends of big people, children of big people, people from some villages. So they just take them and then just put them in there to suck the elephant dry of milk. So we will need to go into these places and break them up. For starters, we would bring those people from the diaspora. We would, select very good ones who know what they are doing and give them, say, okay, take this Camtel, break this Camtel up into 3 or 4 business units so that we can see what we are doing. Select the right staff that can do their job. The other ones who are not good enough, give them an exam. If you pass the exam, you are retained. If you don't pass the exam, you are sent home. That's it. There's nothing like compensation. You have been having money for work not done. So just go home and leave people alone. And we clean up the system. And we are going to do that in every department. We come to the university, for instance, we'll say, look, okay, every university, every whatever, tell us what you are doing as far as import substitution is concerned. You know, if you are head of a department or faculty, tell us when your children leave this faculty, what can they do in the community? If you cannot answer that question, and if you cannot show proof of children from your department or faculty being useful, we'll shut down the department until people start being productive. Productivity is the key word. All those things of, feel good and enjoyment, the time for that is over. And we need to be productive. Productivity is the word. You produce, you get it. You have the merit, you get it. If you cannot have productivity and merit, forget it.
Okay. Do you think there are some structures that need to disappear, which are considered wasteful and consuming our resources for nothing?
Yes, Mr. Kum. Administratively, look at what they call the la prefectorale. The SDO, the DO, these are a duplicate of the mayors. The mayors, the DOs and the mayors, they do the same work. The SDOs, I don't even know why they are there. They say they are the personal representatives of the head of state. Does he need as many personal representatives around the country? 58 of them. Just it's a waste. You have the governor and the president of regional council. They're supposed to do the same thing. One has to disappear. So, like he was saying, something like ENAM. You have ENAM, which is supposed to be the school that trains administrators for la prefectorale and magistrates. We believe that magistrates should be recruited from the bar. The bar today has at least 6,000 lawyers. We have enough lawyers at the bar to feed the magistracy, and that will even give the magistracy a higher breed of magistrates. We don't need a school to train magistrates. And if you come to look at it, what training does ENAM give to the magistrates?
Until you go there, you would not know.
I'm a seasoned lawyer, sir. I know what I'm talking about.
You've not been a student there.
I say I'm a seasoned lawyer. I know what I'm talking about. I've been asked to go give lessons there. I know what I'm talking about. If I go there, they will happily receive me. Yes, they will happily receive me, because people who are teaching them don't have my experience. And as you know, you see, law, legal practice is not university law. It's different. So you see, it is needless having that type of school, because effectively they have, I think, 1 year of studies. The other 1 year they're out. In that 1 year, what do they study? If you want to look at it objectively, all right, that's a school for magistracy. Look at these lawyers. The lawyers who are in chambers, they have 2 years of pupillage. Every Saturday they have a conference where they are trained by lawyers. Their own takes 2 years. Magistrates' own takes 1 year. Who is better trained? You see, so I think that it is a good thing to set that ENAM aside, because firstly, the legal aspect of it is redundant. We don't need it anymore, because we have the possibility of getting better trained magistrates from the bar. Two, the administrative aspect, those prefects who prefer governor, we don't need them anymore. If we want governors, we shall have elected governors, not appointed governors. So they are a duplication of the administrative system. We don't want them. As of today, the constitution says Cameroon is a unitary decentralized state. Its institutions, the institutions of the state are the councils and the regions. You don't see governor anywhere. You don't see super anywhere. So what is the legal basis for the existence of those things? Legally, they are redundant. They are out. They are inexistent. So we should apply what is available in the constitution and forget about what they are put on the field. I was talking about colonial institutions. That is a very good example. It should be kicked out. Now, in case of another redundancy, the Senate. A Senate is a Western institution. In my opinion, in my humble opinion, a Senate is something Western. For them, they say it is a house where high-ranking members of society sit. If you come to our African context, we have our own high-ranking members of society who are not the type of people that are sent to the Senate. If you ask any Cameroonian, who are the most respectable people here in our country, they'll tell you the first people they'll cite is traditional rulers. So I would prefer that Senate be replaced by a house of chiefs. A house of chiefs. And the powers of the Senate, because the powers of the current Senate makes it a laughing stock. You cannot have a Senate with all the money spent that can only give an opinion on a law that on a bill that has been voted by the parliament, and the parliament might take into consideration that opinion or not take it. What is that? It is really useless to waste so much money for an opinion that may be taken into account or not. I would prefer, if you want, I would prefer what the Americans are doing. The Senate should be there to control the government. You want to appoint a minister, let him go through scrutiny before the Senate. Who are you? Where do you come from? Where have you worked before? What do you own as property? How many cases have you had in court? They examine you. When we used to call here enquête de moralité, they pass you through the screening. If they find you wanting, they reject you as a candidate. That is better. That's a better job. Lately, we heard the Americans say Mr. President Donald Trump is a president, not a monarch. As a president, he acts with the Senate. He cannot go to war without permission from the Senate. You see how powerful the American Senate is. Our own here can only give an opinion on a bill. No, I think that that this present Senate ought to be scrapped and replaced by a house that will be more important to our society, like a House of Chiefs.
Okay. Can I just comment on this Senate thing before we leave? You see, I've been thinking about it because let's look at it carefully. You have the Parliament where Kawayeyege is
the Speaker.
Yeah, the Speaker, and then you have this Senate down here. You know, my understanding was that when you have 180 parliamentarians here, whom I think have some brains, I guess they have some brains, they're looking at whatever you bring to them and they study it, and then when they have finished studying it, they pass it over to 100 people from the Senate, who should be like correcting, I would imagine, corriger la feuille of the other people.
Dot the I's.
Yes, dot the I's. But the question is, what capacities do they have in the Senate that those in Parliament don't have? If you can prove to me that those in the Senate are professors with a better brain or better qualified by one way or the other, with the capacity to correct what 180 people did, then it makes sense. But they are just the same sheep and goats, the same people split into two. One to correct the other, correcting what? So it's a waste of time, waste of resources.
They are certainly not sheep and goats.
I'm saying you cannot separate sheep and goats. They are the same thing. See.
Yeah, but
it's an overstatement, sir.
They are honorables.
They are honorables. What makes you honorable? Forget it. We will see honorable in the next, from 2006, we'll see what honorable means. Honorable will be honorable. And that's why I said the Senate must go. When those Senate and all those people go, because we need money to run the country. You've seen, I saw a picture from the north where the women were going down a stony something deep into the center of the earth to fetch water. I could not sleep because of that picture. I saw the picture of a woman, a midwife, showing how the women come and give birth on a bamboo, not a bamboo, it was some stick bloodline, and blood has soaked through that thing, and it was sitting there with all the HIV and everything. I have seen how children are suffering in the north, no benches, no classroom, and whatever. And so these people have just been gathered there and are being given money for doing absolutely nothing.
Okay,
so that money will be taken. Wait, brother. Wait. That I'm sending a message to Senate and also sending a message to the North. We are going to collect that money and go and build the North.
My question actually has to do. My question has to do with the fight against corruption.
Oh, the fight against corruption.
Yes. Operation Sparrow Hawk has been there for long. Cameroonians are also at crossroads as to whether they are doing their job or witch hunting. How do we get it more? How do we get a CONAC more effective? Though we take exception to describing honorable members of parliament and senators as
sheep and goats.
Yes.
No. The Bible says that the goats will be separated from the sheep. I was talking from the Bible. I am a sheep. I don't know whether he's a sheep.
I'm not a goat.
Okay, but I'm a sheep.
Just answer my question. Yeah.
No, this is the point. How do we correct corruption in this country? Number one. Well, I'll go with Senior Barrister Ashu. Number one, it starts with strong institutions.
Okay.
Number two, character training. Number three, if you don't know how to correct corruption, go and learn it from Ibrahim Traore. He's a no-nonsense fellow. If you don't know how to do it, we will do it like Ibrahim Traore. We'll go and bring him here to show us how it is done. There is no excuse. See, you will be nailed to the cross. It's as easy as that. All those people who, you know, a girl wants to come for a job, you want to have sex with her to give her a job, that nonsense will stop. All that, you know, all that rubbish will stop. Now, this is a cell phone, and we are going to teach the whole community how to record all conversations, either voice or picture or something. Though I know that with AI they can generate some funny stuff now. You catch somebody red-handed and you bring him, there will be a squad in the either in the vice president's office or the prime minister's office. You catch anybody, you catch somebody like Senior Barrister Ashu doing something funny. You say bring it with the we nail him to the cross in public. It's simple. No. That thing will finish in 2 weeks.
Okay, it's going to finish in 2 weeks, but I'm not sure it is the nailing of the cross like was done to Jesus.
We'll nail.
It's figurative language.
It's figurative language to say that there's no joking. So that, you see, like that COVID money, people who had COVID, you will bring that money back. All that money will be brought back and used to develop the North. People cannot just be taking money, you know, and killing the rest of the nation. All of that nonsense will stop.
All of that is going to stop. I'm sure Senior Barrister is going to be joining us once again in subsequent editions to tell us how prepared he is for the presidential elections. However, we are very happy to have had you on tonight's edition of the program. Thank you for coming.
The pleasure is mine, sir. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to tell my fellow countrymen that I'm still alive and kicking.
Okay.
And I was not absent, just lying in my house. I was working, preparing a big surprise package for you.
Okay.
When we'll be out, all of you will join. You will jump with me.
Thank you for coming, Dr.
Oh, thank you very much. Just to say that we have come to the whatever I was telling you about the crystal ball. You know, that egg is beginning to hatch. You know, chicken eggs hatch on day 21. We are on day 18 now, and from day 18 to day 21, then day 22, you will see what it's all about. And the country is going to metamorphose. You see all this chaos that is going on around the country. Like that chaos is necessary. It is the storm before the before the peace or something like that. And you must go through this phase so that the goats can be separated from the sheep. I mean, that's the way it happens. Goats must be separated from sheep. We must break the old foundations and reconstruct a new foundation, which is the third option. You've known the philosophy of the third option. Look forward to your 1 million jobs a year. We will do it all together. We'll jointly solve the problems in the North. There will be a vice president. There will be 25 ministers. There will be great. The diaspora is coming, and together with all the youth, we are going to rebuild this country. We are changing the educational system. What we have had now, for all this one, is not good enough. So there's going to be a lot of changes.
Okay,
trust me.
Thank you, Dr. Nick, and our hearts are to all the family of those who lost their lives today in Ekona in that ghastly accident that claimed 18 lives. We actually feel so bad announcing that 18
just hearing it
died in an accident in Ekona this afternoon. Our condolences to the bereaved families. Thank you all for watching, and to the production team. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.